What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 2 of the Hail Mary, where I go through and talk about pretty much everything that's going on in sports, all the biggest news, and I give my takes on them. Even if you don't want to hear them or not, you're listening to this podcast and you're going to hear them whether you like it or not. And you're not allowed to click off the podcast. That is forbidden. But we do have a decent amount to talk about today. We are going to be talking about Jerry Jones versus Micah Parsons. We're going to talk about Hulk Hogan passing away. Trump's executive order for college sports. The MLB trade deadline is going on right now. We're going to talk about some of the biggest names and why I have a problem with the MLB. And we're also going to be talking about NFL training camp and some of the biggest news coming out of that. Mainly the Justin Fields stuff. And one of the biggest clips going around was Aaron Rodgers yesterday throwing an interception at practice. We also have our sicko of the week. And we're also going to be talking a little rant about the LeBron James situation. So we will get to that. So opening up, we are going to be talking about Jerry Jones versus Micah Parsons and this contract dispute where Jerry Jones is doing pretty much everything in his power right now to hurt the Dallas Cowboys because he has waited way too long to get this contract done with Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons probably could have signed for upwards of $36 million per year, but now you have guys like Myles Garrett signing a large contract, and then you had Jamar Chase, who won up that contract, and then you had TJ Watt, which the AFC North is just screwing over Jerry Jones right now, but TJ Watt is making $41 million per year, and the more that Jerry Jones waits, the higher the price tag is getting on Micah Parsons. And I think Jerry Jones personally believes that he could give Micah Parsons $30 million per year and everything would be good. We're learning that that is not the case because there is a back and forth going on right now. Jerry Jones is saying, well, Micah Parsons missed 6 games last year. That's also not true. Micah Parsons only missed 4 games last year. And Micah Parsons is still out there training, but he's saying that he's doing it for himself. He's not doing it for Jerry Jones. This is just a back and forth dispute, and it just goes to show you that you can get too old for something sometimes. We saw it with a few presidents. You're a little too old to do that. Jerry Jones, right now, he is capable of being an owner because all he has to do is sit there, watch the games, and be a figurehead. He should not be the GM of the team anymore. He needs somebody running that for him because he is right now screwing over the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I think either with or without Micah Parsons, the Dallas Cowboys still aren't winning a Super Bowl. However, it's going to be very sad for Cowboys fans if he pulls a Saquon Barkley situation where Saquon Barkley, again, didn't sign with the Giants, went to a division rival. And there are rumors out there, clamorings that are going on that he could possibly be moving to Washington. Dallas Cowboy fans would riot over that. And Jerry Jones is treating it like it's a joke, and he's waiting until the absolute last minute. I don't know whether it's a case that Jerry Jones wants this to go on as long as possible because he likes the fact that people were talking about him. He loves the fact that people were talking about the Dallas Cowboys, and I think he's going to wait for the exact last minute until Micah Parsons is ready to walk. Will he have to overpay in that situation, though? He's maybe going to have to give Micah Parsons $45 million, $47 million, depending on who signs a contract next and changes the market. But Jerry Jones, right now, if you are a Dallas Cowboy fan, you should be rioting. You should be doing the same thing that happened with Luka Doncic and standing outside the stadium and protesting because Jerry Jones right now is screwing over your chance to not be successful this year. I don't think the Dallas Cowboys have a chance to win the Super Bowl this year. I mean, possibly anything can happen if Dak stays healthy. They have CeeDee Lamb. They have George Pickens. You know, the defense isn't bad with Micah Parsons in there, but I'm talking more so for the future. If you guys lose Micah Parsons, you're basically, you got to find a guy in the draft, and hopefully you're bad enough to get one of these top guys again. It is going to be an absolute disaster if you are a Dallas Cowboy fan, and Jerry Jones is not making it easy for you guys. So Micah Parsons has been attending mandatory minicamp, and he's expected to go to training camp, but this is probably going to get ugly. Is it going to get to a point where Micah Parsons is sitting out of games because he's not getting a contract and he doesn't want to get hurt for the next season going into free agency? This is such an ugly situation, and all Jerry Jones had to do was offer him a contract before Myles Garrett signed, before even Danielle Hunter signed, because Danielle Hunter kind of changed the market, and then it was Myles Garrett, and then Jamar Chase, and now it's TJ Watt, and now we're also hearing that Trey Hendrickson could one-up that as well, because Trey Hendrickson led the league in sacks. He could be getting somewhere in the realm of $45 million per year if a team offers it to him, because it doesn't seem like he's going to be re-signing with the Cincinnati Bengals. He's right now in Florida, and he's been posting a lot of cryptic memes on Instagram, but that could mean anything because TJ Watt did the same exact thing. He was posting the peace sign. So we'll see what happens. But if I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan right now, I am pissed because Jerry Jones is single-handedly ruining the team. I mean, he's making trades that sometimes don't make sense. He gave up a higher pick for Jonathan Mingo than what the Jets had to give up for like Devontae Adams. I think the guy has lost his fastball. He's lost his touch since the 90s. 96, what is the last time they won a Super Bowl? I think even won a playoff game. I don't really know, but Jerry Jones is screwing the team over, and if I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, I am pissed. And Micah Parsons, if I'm somebody else in the NFC East, NFC East, if I'm an NFC East fan, I love Jerry Jones, but I could care less because I'm an AFC North guy. But Jerry Jones is really screwing you guys over if you're Dallas Cowboy fans. So we'll see what happens with that. That is one of the bigger stories that's going on today. It's just a back and forth. If I had to make my opinion on it, I don't think Micah Parsons is coming back. I think Jerry Jones is going to try to drag this out as long as possible. I think Micah Parsons is going to get sick of it. He's going to walk. He's probably going to go to a division rival, and everyone in Dallas is going to hate him. And then Jerry Jones is going to pound the table saying, if we had one more elite edge rusher, we'd be able to win the Super Bowl. And that elite edge rusher was Micah Parsons. So Jerry Jones is senile, has no idea what he's doing. And if I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, I'm pissed. Some more big news that happened yesterday was Hulk Hogan passing away. And listen, there was mixed reactions going on from the internet. A lot of people sad, more so the older crowd sad. A lot of the younger crowd, I'm talking like 30 and younger, kind of celebrating this because of his comments and the stuff that he has said that was racist in the past. And a lot of people now, like in the wrestling world, are celebrating this. But then again, you have the older crowd who is sad about it because they grew up watching Hulk Hogan. And regardless how you feel about Hulk Hogan, you have to give it to him that he left a lasting impact on the world of pro wrestling and just the world of media. I mean, pro wrestling has become a worldwide phenomenon because of Hulk Hogan. Hulkamania is running wild over you, brother. And regardless of how you felt about Hulk Hogan because of his comments, and he made pro wrestling what it is today. He is a legend of the game. It's the same thing with Vince McMahon. A lot of people are very down on him because of his allegations, which 100% I understand, because some of that stuff that has been alleged against him is disgusting and terrible. But sometimes you have to separate the art from the artist. Hulk Hogan, while a lot of people didn't like what he did in the ring because he would put himself over and he wouldn't, help out other guys, he still was a huge worldwide factor in making pro wrestling what it is today. And, this also stemmed into other forms of media where he helped guys like The Rock, like John Cena, like Dave Bautista be able to make pro wrestling a gateway to other careers because he legitimized pro wrestling. And, regardless of what you feel about Hulk Hogan, he obviously, I think he changed the world. He really did, because pro wrestling wouldn't be where it is today without Hulk Hogan. So this was obviously big news. Now, the last time we saw Hulk Hogan on any sort of wrestling television, he was getting booed out of the building, and there are wrestling fans like, "Oh, how do you fans feel now that you were booing him?" I think that's a stupid argument because nobody wanted to see Hulk Hogan anymore. He had his moment in the spotlight, 80s and 90s. You know, he was great for the Real American stuff and then NWO Hogan. There came a limit where it's like, hey, we're sick of you. They weren't, well, a lot of them were booing them because they didn't like him. But it was more so go away heat. If you know what X-Pac heat is, that's kind of what he had was, hey, we don't want to see you anymore. Please go away. Because who knows what he would have done. Hulk Hogan may have been like, oh, brother, they love me. And then inserted himself into the title picture at 70 years old and defeated Cody Rhodes with a finger poke of doom again. Who knows? Hulk Hogan still had that type of political pull backstage, it seemed like. And the people booing him, again, a lot of them probably did hate him. Most of them are probably like, hey, man, we kind of don't want to see you here anymore. Please go away. So the whole thing, it's like, I hope you guys feel bad for booing him. I think that's a stupid argument. And again, the whole internet world, half of the people who are mostly older, the older crowd, they're upset, obviously, about Hulk Hogan passing away. They woke up every Saturday, Sunday morning, whenever it was. I wasn't born for it. And they watched Hulk Hogan. And then this crowd here, you know, they just heard stories about Hulk Hogan. And most of the stories came from Hulk Hogan's mouth. And a lot of them were lies. I mean, I watched the Stevie Richards podcast. They go through this whole thing about all of the lies that Hulk Hogan has told. There are a lot of lies in there. I mean, a lot of stuff he fibbed about. I'm not going to say he was a downright liar. He did fib, saying like he worked like 400 days a year because he flew so much from Japan to the United States, and there was no records of him actually ever do it. Listen, the guy was a storyteller, and that's what you need to be a pro wrestler. So that was some of the biggest news, and one of my favorite ever Hulk Hogan memories was, and again, there's going to be an older crowd that's like, that's your favorite memory. Listen, I didn't grow up watching the guy. So my favorite memory is the one of him in an interview, and he told, I forget who it was, that he's going to get off. I'm going to get off by twisting your knob, brother. That, I mean, that's what I say that all the time whenever, like, you know, you're fucking around like with someone and you go, I'm gonna get off by not fucking around like that. Hey, pause. But you know, like you're play fighting with someone and you go, I'm gonna twist your knot, brother. So yeah, that's one of my favorite Hulk Hogan memories. And rest in peace to Hulk Hogan. A lot of people are gonna probably listen to this and be like, what the fuck are you talking about? I fucking hate Hulk Hogan. The guy was still a legend in his own right. Racist or not, you got to sometimes separate the art from the artist. And Hulk Hogan did a lot for the pro wrestling, did a lot for entertainment. So we will say over here at the Hail Mary, rest in peace to Hulk Hogan. Next up, we have Donald Trump interjecting himself in more sports. If you remember us talking about in the first episode, Donald Trump was going to block, or he could still block, a deal with the Washington Commanders for their new stadium because he wants them to change their name back to the Washington Redskins. And I made a whole video about it on TikTok. Well, now Donald Trump has interjected himself in the world of college sports, where he signed an executive order aimed at regulating the business of college sports. And it primarily focuses on protecting student athletes and their scholarships, but it mostly prohibits pay-for-play payments. So student athletes now cannot get paid to play specifically. Like, third parties can't pay athletes just to play at their school. But it doesn't change that athletes can still get fair market value and they can still get paid NIL from businesses that are endorsing them. So there's going to be loopholes around this. I mean, I have to like really dig more into this executive order, but just on the surface of what's going on, I think that what's going to happen is people are going to do the third party pay for play stuff, but they're just going to go to businesses and say, hey, can we run the money through you? and then you pay the athlete, so then it won't be a pay for play thing. It'll just be, it's going to get messy. There's going to be a lot of loopholes that are going to go on here. At the end of the day, Donald Trump, I think, just needs to stay out of sports. I get that this is an issue that a lot of people are taking heed with, I guess is the right word, but he just needs to stay out of sports. There is so much other stuff going on in the world right now. And the fact that he is interjecting himself so much in this type of media where now it's the Washington Commanders, and then we're going to be, he's going to be fighting with South Park because of their whole thing and stuff with him. He's worried about the wrong things right now. Straight up. The NCAA should not be running to Donald Trump to try to figure out their problems. They made this mess. They need to clean it up. You had Nick Saban, who was running to Donald Trump to get this mess cleaned up. And I think he's doing it because he wants to come back to to college sports. There are rumors that Nick Saban may be going to the Cleveland Browns and they're going to be trying to get an Arch Manning. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Nick Saban is a college guy, and I think he ran to Donald Trump because he left the sport because of NIL. He wants Donald Trump to fix this NIL problem so then he could go back to the sport and do what he was doing and just dominate through recruiting. Now, I'm not saying Nick Saban got recruits through nefarious means. However, if NIL was fixed, in quotes, he would be able to do his tactics again and run money through I'm not saying he did it. I'm not saying he did that. However, I think there's a reason that Nick Saban went running to Donald Trump to get this fixed. And I think it's because he wants to go back to college. He wants to dominate and do it through whatever means he did necessary. Shane Gillis called him out of this before that Notre Dame and Indiana game on College Game Day. Nick Saban was very upset with Shane Gillis because of that. But I think that there was some truth to it. I think Shane Gillis was on to something. I mean, I'm not saying that, he's the only one who knew that there was something going on. Everybody knew that there was something going on in the SEC. Why did they have the biggest and strongest players? Is it really because the SEC was the best conference? Maybe it was the best conference because they had the most money. On the hush hush. Who knows? I'm not saying that. I'm not alleging anybody of anything. I'm just saying it's a major possibility. Just a conspiracy theory. Please don't sue me, Nick Saban. However, Donald Trump just needs to stay out of college sports. He should just stay out of sports. He can watch sports. He can go to sporting events. I don't care about that whatsoever. He's the president of the United States. He can kind of do whatever he wants. But there's no reason for him to be interjecting himself in stuff like this. No reason whatsoever. Worry about everything else that's going on in the world. Maybe worry about why, it cost me $75 to eat dinner every night. Maybe, it's also just because I eat a lot of food, but maybe also fix, maybe let's get gas prices a little bit lower. The price of eggs have gone down, but maybe let's get them a little bit lower. Maybe let's worry about some foreign national affairs. Let's stop worrying about college sports. Let's stop worrying about the NFL. I don't care that you want to do this UFC event on the White House lawn. I actually encourage that. I think that'll be a really cool event. And I don't mind that whatsoever. But changing what people can do in NIL terms and trying to interject yourself in college sports and trying to interject yourself, all Washington wants is a brand new stadium, and you're going to block the deal because you're offended that people were offended about a name. I don't mind the name Commanders. I really don't. Did I mind the name Redskins? I didn't either. But do I understand why people were upset by it? I absolutely do. I don't think it's such a big deal whatsoever. If the Pittsburgh Steelers up and change their name tomorrow, it'll be stupid. But would I stop supporting the team? No, I'll still watch the team. If they change their name to the Pittsburgh Pretty Ponies, I'll still watch them. I'm not going to get a tattoo of it. I have a Steeler tattoo, but I'm not going to get a Pittsburgh Pretty Ponies tattoo. I may, though, if they're absolutely dominant. But the fact that we are obsessed with this name, the Washington Redskins, and you're trying to block deals because of this, and you're now getting interjected in college sports, I think is absolutely ridiculous. I think it is very stupid. I think Donald Trump needs to stay out of it. It's dumb. Dumb. Going back to South Park because he probably is going to forget about sports anyway because South Park made fun of him and now he's going to sue Paramount. So I went on a large rant about that. And it all just is going to come down to, sure, this deal was signed. There are loopholes that will be made. Players are still going to get paid through third-party entities, and it's just going to get run through businesses. And Jeremiah Smith will be getting sponsorships from shoe companies that are local to Columbus, Ohio, that only sell $3 worth of merchandise per year because it's a shell company that was made just for strictly NIL deals. That's exactly what's going to happen. And Donald Trump needs to stay out of sports. Okay. Moving on to the next topic. Hey, before we move on to our next topic, I want to give a big shout out to Underdog. If you use my code HMM when you sign up using Underdog Fantasy, you can get a free pick, which is pretty much just like a gimme pick. It's a 0.5 pick. It's going to be like Aaron Judge only needs one plate appearance. And you're also going to be able to get up to $1,000 in a deposit match, which you would be kind of crazy not to take that. It's sort of kind of free money. So big shout out to Underdog Fantasy. Please use the code HMM when you sign up. Get yourself a free pick. Get yourself up to $1,000 in a deposit match. With football season coming up, you can do fantasy drafts. You can do just player prop picks. It is honestly one of the best things that I like about football season is doing these player prop picks. As much as I like just straight picks on like other platforms, I have a lot more fun just rooting for individual players sometimes instead of a full team. And that's what you can do on Underdog Fantasy. So again, use the code HMM. When you sign up, you're going to get up to $1,000 in a deposit match when you do sign up, plus a free gimme pick. Big shout out to Underdog, code HMM. Let's move on to our next topic, and that is the MLB trade deadline. All right, the MLB trade deadline. It is rapidly approaching. It is, I believe it ends on July 31st. And we do have some big names who are out there right now. I'm going to list them all off for you. Sandy Alcantara, Mitch Keller, Eugenio Suarez, David Bednar, Ryan O'Hearn, Merrill Kelly, Adrian Hauser, Cedric Mullins, Marcelo Zuna, Emmanuel Clase, and Jared Duran. And here's the thing about the MLB trade deadline. First, we already had our biggest move where Josh Naylor moved over to the Mariners. The thing about the MLB trade deadline and what I absolutely hate about it, it kind of is nothing like any other trade deadline. And I hate it for that because at least in like the NHL trade deadline, these teams that are like middling, they sometimes will make a deal to push themselves into another level of like making a wild card. Most of the time in the MLB, because there's not a salary cap, it's teams that are out of the playoffs but can maybe slightly push their way into the playoffs, just giving up and just giving all of their players to the best teams. And it's because there's no salary cap, and I absolutely hate it. I absolutely hate it. Most of these names right now are going to end up being either a Met, a Yankee, or a Dodger. Probably. Some guys are going to make moves to the Reds, but again, they don't really have a shot to win the World Series. I mean, maybe Detroit will make some moves, but that's going to also affect them probably with Tarek Skubal. I made a whole video about that because they're essentially going to lose him for nothing because the MLB's stupid and there's no salary cap, but we are going to see a lot of these teams that are also like Take, for example, the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks a few years ago made it to the World Series. So there is potential for a team that has obviously a lower payroll to sneak their way into the playoffs and make their way to a World Series. But it just seems like a lot of these teams just give up. And they're like, nope, we'll build for the future. Take the Pittsburgh Pirates, for example. Now, the Pirates obviously don't have a shot to make the playoffs this year. But one or two moves, now towards the beginning of the year, however, one or two players could push them to that level. And there are teams right now in the MLB that one or two players can push them to that level. It's a gamble. It's a risk because, yes, you're not in a playoff spot. So you're going to have to give up some sort of prospects to get a good player to maybe push yourself to a level to making the playoffs. However, a lot of teams just throw and they go, no, we'll just build for next year. We'll build for the future, and we'll let the Dodgers just get our best players. We'll let the Yankees have our best players. And it's stupid. I hate it. It's the same teams every year making the same moves. You get a team here and there that'll make a move, like Josh Naylor going to the Mariners. That's a big deal. He's a good slugging first baseman. I don't think it's going to matter in the grand scheme of things. I really don't. The Mariners could possibly make a few more moves, but they're not even going to be at the level of a Dodgers because there's no salary cap. It is completely stupid. And I just hate the MLB. Like, I love baseball. I really do. I just hate the MLB system. Like, at least put a salary cap floor in baseball. Because now you're going to get listen, I have to deal with the Pirates, so you guys have to deal with me yelling about it. There's not even a salary cap floor in baseball. So Bob Nutting is telling the GM right now, whoever it is, because we got reports that they may be firing their GM. They may be doing it after this trade deadline, but the Pirates are going to lose David Bednar. They're going to lose Mitch Keller. Are they going to trade Paul Skeens? Probably not this year, but maybe next year. Are they going to trade the rest of their team? Probably. And you know why they can? Because there's no salary cap floor. It is so freaking stupid. The MLB needs to fix their system so bad. And I have a feeling that if they propose putting in a salary cap, I have a feeling we're not going to have a season in 2027 because the players are going to be pissed. The MLB Players Union is going to be pissed, and then we're going to have a lockout. I think baseball put themselves in this position without a salary cap, and I think they're screwed if they ask for one, and it's just the rich getting richer. I made a big video today on TikTok about Tarek Skubal, where the Detroit Tigers handled his situation and handled their team the right way. They are one of the best teams in baseball right now. They drafted Skubal in the 9th round. The dude had a 5 ERA, an over 5 ERA for the first 2 years of his career, and they stuck with him. They coached him up, and now look at him. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball. But because they are a small market organization, they're going to lose him for nothing. He's going to make $400 million with the Giants, or not the Giants, maybe the Giants, but with the Dodgers, with the Mets, with the Yankees. And because Detroit did it the right way, they're going to lose him for nothing. They did it all for nothing if they don't win a championship this year. And he's just going to go to the Yankees, and the Yankees did nothing to coach him up. They're just going to get him at his best. They're going to give him $400 million, and that's that. Detroit deserves better than that. These small market teams deserve better than that. But we also need to punish the small market teams that aren't trying. Bob Nutting, Pittsburgh. We need to punish these teams that aren't trying, and it is just a paycheck. Add a salary cap floor. Add that you get taxed if you are under a certain amount. Add that you have to give up some of your revenue if you are under a certain salary cap. Maybe stop going to games. I refuse to go to Pirate games because of the product on the field. Why in the hell should Bob Nutting get a single dollar from me if he doesn't give a shit about what he is showing to me on the field. Baseball has a huge problem, and the trade deadline's one of them because it's just the rich getting richer, and a lot of these teams are going to end up losing players for nothing. It's a disaster. MLB needs to fix something, but I have a feeling if they try to fix something, there's going to be a lockout. It's stupid. It's dumb. I hate it. And I know I'm just bitching right now, but baseball, I'm a Pirate fan. I'm allowed to bitch. I deal with them. So, yeah. Let's talk about something a lot more fun. Well, not a lot more fun because we did have injuries, but we're going to talk about NFL training camp yesterday. So NFL training camp has been taking place, and two of the biggest things that took place. First of all, one is a clip surfacing of Aaron Rodgers throwing an interception at practice. Not the biggest news, but it's just something that everybody's talking about because like, oh, look, he's washed. I think it'll be perfectly fine. The biggest news, though, was Justin Fields and the media, specifically Adam Schefter. When have we lost the grasp of what being carted off the field means? Because he had everybody in New York wanting to jump off the bridge, thinking that Justin Fields was out for the year. We have lost sight of what being carted off means. Usually being carted off means that you're done. Like something is terribly bad, but just riding in a golf cart to go to the locker room, do not say that that is being carted off the field. And I get that Adam Schefter does it for clicks, which he's kind of gone downhill a little bit. Listen, he's good at breaking the news. Gone a little bit clickbaity there, Adam Schefter. Let's be honest. However, he had Jet fans screaming. I mean, I have a Jet fan, one of my buddies who's in my group chat, and he's like, hey, guys, Justin Fields, done. He's dead. Now, you know what I mean. He didn't say he's dead, but he went from probably a torn Achilles, because that's what everyone thinks whenever he was carted off, to, oh no, he had a dislocated toe, and he's practicing today. So that was the biggest news from yesterday, is we have to take everything that's going on at training camp with a grain of salt, because you're going to get these camp notes now too that like, hey, so-and-so threw 17 touchdowns on 15 passes and they look like the greatest quarterback of all time. And it's also because they were throwing against air. Like we have to start taking tweets and things from camp with a grain of salt, because somebody could get carted off and it could just be because they had the poop. Somebody could have thrown 12 touchdown passes, but it's just against air. Everything now with NFL training camp has become super clickbaity, and the only way for you to actually know what's going on is to actually watch it for yourself. That's quite literally it, because Adam Schefter right now, I can't even say he's a valid source, because again, everybody thought that Justin Fields was done for the year. But no, he's practicing today. But Adam Schefter and I'm not going to just blame Adam Schefter, but other media made it seem like Justin Fields was done for the year and it was Tyrod Taylor season. So that was the biggest news from NFL training camp. We're going to get more news like this, and I'm going to talk about it. So, yeah, NFL training camp, not much happened. Aaron Rodgers threw an interception. Everyone's freaking out about that. Jackson Dart kind of looked like shit in camp, but again, I'm taking it with a grain of salt, but his first 11-on-11 pass was a pick six. I will say that. I did see that with my own eyes. Not physically there, but I saw the video. And, yeah, Adam Schefter, please stop using carted off when a guy just hurts his toe. Like, please save that for catastrophic injuries like Teddy Bridgewater a few years ago, where he dropped back and his leg absolutely snapped in half and he probably thought he was going to lose his leg and die. Like, that's when we should be saying carted off. Not, hey, my toe got stepped on and it's dislocated and I'm going to miss a day. I'm going to miss half a day. Let's fix that, Adam Schefter, please. All right, so that was the most of the news for the week. I want to talk about my sicko of the week. And this has nothing to do with sports. This is about, I don't know if you guys saw the guy in the Chuck E. Cheese costume getting arrested. Yeah, this was an incident in Florida, obviously, where during a child's birthday party, an employee, Jermel Jones, who was 41, was accused of credit card fraud and got arrested while wearing the Chuck E. Cheese suit. So the victim reported that her child support debit card, that's Florida for you, was stolen after attending a birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese in late June. She later noticed that there were unauthorized charges on her card totaling over $100, and surveillance photos saw that Jermell Jones stole the credit card. Police arrived at the Chuck E. Cheese where Jones worked at, saw Jones at the front desk. As Jones was being approached by the officers, became nervous and put on the Chuck E. Cheese costume. Obviously, police weren't going to care about that and detained him while in the costume, and people were filming him still having the head on. You know, just why do you think that you're not going to get arrested while wearing the Chuck E. Cheese costume? Like, so now Chuck E. Cheese has been charged with felony credit card theft, criminal use of personal identification, and fraudulent use of a credit card, and probably should be charged some sicko fee for putting on the costume. But yeah, that's my sicko of the week, because I was dying laughing hearing this. I mean, how you really thought that putting on the Chuck E. Cheese costume was going to get you out of it? Like, they're going to be like, are you Jermell Jones? Be like, no, I'm Chuck E. Cheese. I don't know Chuck E. Cheese's voice. I haven't been to Chuck E. Cheese in 17 years. So, but yeah, that's my sicko of the week. Jermell Jones. Felony credit card fraud, thought that you could get out of being arrested while wearing a Chuck E. Cheese outfit, and it's just Florida. There's stories like this all the time from Florida, but this is the one that was making the rounds. So, Jermell Jones, congratulations. You are our sicko of the week. Oh, boy. Now, usually this is the part where I would answer questions, but we didn't get any questions in the Discord server. So, if you guys want to ask any questions about any upcoming things going on in sports, or just anything else about anything. Like, I saw the new Fantastic Four movie yesterday. If you guys want me to talk about that, ask in the Discord server, and I'll talk about it on Monday. I'll do a spoiler-free review for you or something like that. But yes, if you guys want to ask any sort of questions, any community engagement things, if you guys want to help me out and give any suggestions for Sicko of the Week, join the Discord server. If you go to my TikTok page, there's a link in my bio for that. Or if you're watching this on YouTube right now, there is a link somewhere in the bio, so go check that out. Join the Discord server. Come talk about sports with us, because we got no questions. And if you're in my Discord server and you didn't ask me a question, you're lame. All right, moving on to our final little topic is it's everything going on with LeBron James. So LeBron James has now taken legal action against a viral, non-consensual, AI-generated video of himself being depicted as pregnant. You know that it is 2025 because that is a real sentence that came out of my mouth. There were 3 Instagram accounts who were making videos of LeBron James pregnant. Also him being a mermaid. Just a lot of AI-generated images of LeBron James, and they had to reportedly issue cease and desist letters to these AI makers. So 3 Instagram accounts got taken down. The problem is with this right now is people have saved those images. I think because this news came out of LeBron James issuing those cease and desist letters, the images and videos have been spread like wildfire even more, and I guarantee you that there are going to be a lot of people who make burner accounts just to do this, and they're going to be using VPNs. Now, you'll be able to find who they are. However, LeBron James, I think, opened up a huge can of worms on himself by issuing these cease and desist letters. LeBron James is now going to be getting flooded with videos and deepfakes that are possibly even worse than him being pregnant. Listen, I understand that you don't want that out there in the public. I think his best course of action was to just let it go. You are possibly one of the biggest athletes in all of sports. There's some things that you cannot control. And I get that you want privacy, and I get that you don't want these images out there. The issue is you now opened up a new can of worms, and people are going to be making much worse things for you about you. And I can't say that I find it hilarious. I do find it hilarious, but I just think it's absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous on both ends. That, for one, you're making deepfake videos of LeBron James being pregnant. I don't mind the mermaid thing. I think that's funny. Whenever we had that whole LeBron James, you are my sunshine meme thing, that was top tier content. But I think that it's ridiculous that we are at a point right now with AI that you can depict LeBron James as being pregnant. But I also think that it's a little bit ridiculous that we're offering or sending cease and desist letters to these people, because I think you just made everything worse for yourself. So that is just something I wanted to talk about. Pretty funny situation, pretty weird and kind of scary situation, though, if you think about it as well, because these deepfake videos can really spread to anybody. And I know this has been a problem for a few years now, but I think that LeBron James doing this has now made... There's a lot of people who didn't know how to do this, who didn't know about deepfake videos. I think now, because LeBron James is talking about it and has to issue statements about it, I think it's going to make the world of deepfakes and the world of AI a hell of a lot worse. So that's just something I want to talk about, because AI has gotten crazy. And the fact that I had to bring up the fact that a phrase came out of my mouth that LeBron James had to take legal action against people making videos of him being pregnant, the fact that I had to say that in the year 2025, we might be cooked as a society. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you all so much for tuning into this episode of the Hail Mary. And also, before I forget, I did offer you a no context top 5 the other day on Monday's show. Nobody got it. The no context top 5 was athletes for video games. So, yeah, if you want to be part of our next no context top 5, every Monday I give you a top 5. I give the order, I give the list. You have to tell me what the list is about. And like I said, it could be as broad as best quarterbacks in the NFL currently. It could be as outlandish as the worst foods to eat during the Super Bowl, or, the worst times to get arrested while watching, like, just crazy stuff like that. But I will try to make the topic list as specific as possible, so it's easier for you guys to pick the top 5, what it's about. But that was what the no context top 5 was about. Again, if you do get the no context top 5, you do get a shout out on the next video. But nobody got it for this last week, and it was video game athletes. It was Michael Vick, it was Pablo Sanchez, it was Johnny Manziel, it was Bo Jackson, and I forget the other one. I don't have it written down here right in front of me. But that was the no context top 5. So again, everybody, thank you so much for listening to episode 2 of the Hail Mary. If you want to ask questions, if you want to come talk about sports, please join the Discord server. And yeah. Thank you all so much. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit that thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe button as well. I will be back on Monday to talk to you guys about the biggest news that happened throughout the weekend. If anything happens, usually something happens. There's always something happening in sports. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope you guys have a beautiful day. Check me out everywhere on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube. We're everywhere. Check us out. Spotify. Peace out, everybody. Have a beautiful day.